Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Planning Council, the meeting for the City Park Council tonight. Without further ado, if you would please stand for the invocation. Mr. Chapel, if once you're up, sir. We're going to do a prayer first. Okay.
Oh Lord, bless this council meeting tonight, that we make the right decisions for the city of Parker, and bless our fire department and our police force, that they stay out of harm's way. I ask all this in your name. Amen.
Amen. What it be? Chapel.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Would you call the roll, please?
Absolutely. Miss Farrer? Here. Miss Boterford? Here. Mr. Chapel?
Here.
Mr. Haney? Mayor Kelly?
Here. Thank you, ma'am. At this time, if there's anybody in the audience that would like to come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, we'll hear what you have to say before we have our council meeting.
Sorry.
Go ahead, sir. There's no real organization to it.
Hi, I'm Joe Huffbauer, 5033 Sharon Drive.
Yes, sir.
Sonia Green, 5105 Stratford.
Yes.
David Marlowe, 5103 Stratford.
Yes.
First, we want to thank y'all for the ditch that y'all put in between our properties, David and mine. Good job, and I think it's going to really work out for the benefit of the community.
Yep.
I'm sorry that they weren't able to get to the soil that's in the bay there. A history of that area, it's never been dredged. It's 60 years of sediment that's piled up there.
Yes.
And we want to approach the council and make a request, because I know we weren't able to fit it in the last dredge that you did last week. But if you could apply for an exemption.
That was an outfall cleaning, not a dredge.
Well, but it included dredge. They did do dredges according to the
Well,
source maps.
there was no ship out there. There was none.
According to this,
Where did the slurry go to from the ship?
it's supposed to have went to the
Looked like to me it went on the barge.
barge,
Okay.
and then it went over here to the park, and then you took it and it's going to Stepfield. It's right
Okay,
here.
stand by one. Mr. Summerlin, would you give me a briefing on that?
All of these sediment that they were taking is going to Harders, and
Yeah.
Harders is trucking it to Steel.
Okay, so that's where it went to.
Yeah.
That actually was a very small amount of sediment.
Well, it's quite a bit in certain areas, but I don't want to get into that. I want to get into the fact that we haven't had a dredge in 60 years, and it's
How long?
piled up, and we can't get our boats in and out as it is now.
Okay, the last dredge wasn't 60 years ago.
No, I'm saying in,
never been
in our area.
Oh, in
Not
your bayou.
Yeah,
Okay.
The last time it was dredged was when it was built back in 1964.
Went to a meeting about 18 months ago and met with the folks from Port Panama, because they're the ones that kind of head up the dredging program for their area so that the ships can come and go from Port Panama. And we had a brief conversation with them at that time, because we would have to piggyback on with somebody. And I agree with you completely. I would love to dredge out the bayous.
Well, I have a proposal for y'all.
Okay.
We will dredge out the bayou with you, meaning the residents. We have talked to FDEP, and they did say we can get an exemption, and we can give you certain volumes. I got a map here. I'll show you what we're talking about right
Okay.
now.
Did they say they do it for free?
No, but we would work out some of the deal on some of the costs. Most of the costs would be for surveying and for disposal of materials. Oh, wrong one.
Yeah.
Okay, my last. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Disposal of material. What we're talking about is we three residents working with the city, we would dredge it out into a roll-off box or container of your choice. We can dry it in the dry field with whatever one we get accepted by the FDEP, and then use it either locally or send it off to Sheffield. I knew it was gonna go over time.
Oh, that's okay, go, because this is important.
What we would do is we would rent the dredging device itself, which is a hydraulic dredge, and the residents themselves would dredge the area I showed you in that map. For example, this is
Okay.
what we're proposing for the
I
area.
just got to tell you, the last time we did this, they piped it up Center Street. Do you remember on the Mr. Roberts property?
Yes.
And it was, remember how many yards it was? It wasn't a rollback box. It was millions of yards of sand.
We also could use some in our yard.
South of Bow, that was,
Wherever you put it, also, it kills the earth. You know
Yeah,
that,
I
right?
realize that, and I'm filling low spots in my area, but I'm only talking about for my area about 100 cubic yards. Dave is only talking about an estimate 50, and that's high. These are high numbers. And Tim is talking about 300, but he's willing to bring that number down if we
Okay.
have to. So it's not going to be large amounts. It's going to be around our boat lifts and around the docks until the period when you can get an agreement to dredge out the remainder, because there is quite a
Let me
bit.
ask you, Joe, if we did that, how long would it take for the remaining sediment to fill back in, and how many tides would it be?
Well, it would be quite a few years, because right now it's been 60 years, right? We can go down 5 feet according to this exemption.
To get to where you were 60 years ago.
Right.
Right.
So we can go 5 feet down from around our boat lift. So if it's taking 60 years to fill up, it'll take a while to fill back up.
Okay.
and what you've just done between me and Joe on that ditch
Should
and
reduce
grassing
it.
that'll reduce it.
That
It
would,
should. You're right. It should.
Because you're talking about 60 years of sediment between Joe and me.
Miss Green, what's it like behind your house? Is it filling in there?
Yes, it is. My husband is Tim, the one that was mentioned.
Yes.
And I'm here in his stead, just standing here holding papers.
Can you still get
but,
your boats in and out?
It's a problem.
Okay.
We have a 36-foot lures that is
The
docked
bottom, its
there.
keel's hitting the bottom. Mhm.
Yes, it is. And we can't move it in and out unless we're at high tide or the tide's
Okay.
moving up. So yes, this would
Can we-
greatly-
Can we have a few days to look at this?
yeah, let me. pass
If it's
on
been
what our
60 years,
suggestions
another
are.
one ain't gonna matter.
No, I just want to present the idea so we can talk about it.
Okay.
All
Well,
right?
we just
This
maybe
is
need
what
help
we're
from y'all.
requesting.
We need a little help from y'all because the only places to put it is between me and Joe on the new grass, the box or whatever. However, there's no way to get into his yard or
Well-
Tim's yard.
The last time they did it, they didn't pump it into a box. They pumped it onto the earth.
Yeah.
And then they had a excavator move the sand into trailers, and they moved it away wherever the dredge touched. It didn't grow there. Nothing grew for 3 or 4 years.
Well, there's other options too nowadays that they didn't have before, like bladders, where you can actually collect the sediment in geomembrane bags
Yeah.
and then transfer it into boxes.
So let me just chime in one quick thing. The other test we're gonna have to do is the sediment. The reason why our outfalls are all being hauled off is we had to pay to have all the outfalls soil tested. And the level of arsenic that is in the sand is requiring all of it to be
But-
hauled to landfill. And none of it can be used for any yards or fill.
Right.
So,
And I'm willing to do that test.
Well, I understand
No,
what you're
no,
saying,
no,
but
no,
the site we tested failed for, and it's
So-
not man-made, it's earth arsenic.
I'm going to tell you what I think I know a little bit about because I checked on this a year ago. They're trying to build an offshore reef. 12, I was told, it may not be accurate, but I was told, 12 miles off the coast of Mexico Beach. And that they were looking to dredge these bays and bayous and then by ship take that sediment and put it on the bottom to build a way that it would reduce erosion of the ocean on the bottom out there. Now, that's all done by the Army Corps of Engineers. That was my reason for reaching out to them. But I got to tell you, man, it's this thing sets up to do work. It don't do it by the rollback box.
No.
I mean, that must be like a small vessel that does that.
No, it's
Like the
big
one at
enough
Mexico
where-
Beach has got one.
Yeah,
Bladder?
the bladder, you know, he's
Very
talking
long.
about the device. I got information on that too, if you'd like to know that.
I would. Could we meet when it's not a council meeting and sit down and
let me
talk
just
about
give
it
you this
better?
so you can talk, think about it and talk to each other about it. I should label these better, I'm sorry.
Do I have it?
No, here's the
Is it a
device.
local company, Joe, that can do it?
A man who owns it is willing to rent it to us.
Oh,
He's
Okay.
local, and this is not gonna take, you know, just one day. This is gonna be a long-term type of cleanup. And we're gonna do it over time. It's gonna take time, and we're gonna move from location to location.
Who issues the permit for this? Do you know?
We would go to FDEP because it's a canal, it's exempt. Like I said in that picture I showed you earlier,
Yeah.
it was constructed in 1964. So before that, it was just a little pool of wetlands, and they dug it out
Yeah.
and they turned it into a canal. And this exemption allows us to make these maintenance changes. Where is that page? You get me all flustered, I get out of order. Well, anyway, you can pass that around. It shows you that if you can keep it within 5 feet depth, which we will,
Right.
we're not gonna go that deep, you can get exempt. And I've already talked to FDEP and got their approval to do this. So I'm sure
Who
we
do you
can-
remember who it was you spoke to there?
Oh, yeah, I've got the email here if you'd like to see it.
I'm gonna have to have a copy of all of that for sure.
Yeah, okay. Well, we can talk whenever you're available, and I'll give you the contact names. I discussed with her, here's the exemption, I got more copies.
Okay.
I discussed with her what the plan was. She says you are exempt by this rule, 403, 813,
Okay.
and I highlighted the important spots. Here's her name, Grayson Kramer.
That's what I need right there. Thank you.
Yeah. And be willing to work with the city to help make me and my neighbors happier. That's
So-
what we want, happy residents, right?
What you're saying is the people that would benefit from it would pay for their portion of it?
Exactly. We are willing to work with you. We would rent the device. We want to work with you hauling off the materials. That's obviously going to be the issue. Like
It was
you said.
the problem was that the last time, the
Right.
little outfalls.
There might be a state fund of $2.60 per ton. Since it's your dirt, I'd ask you to pay for it. I'm kidding. We can work that out too.
Yeah.
Well,
The last dirt we got started to grow turnip greens in the park.
Well, that's the major problem I've had since I moved here in the 80s. Is me being on the bottom end, which I knew this
Right,
all the
right.
way. You know what happens when it rains.
Yeah.
Now I've just finally got.
It looks good down there, don't it, man?
Yeah, but over between me and Tim, there.
There's a mound of sand probably like that right on the
Well,
bottom.
that's what happens because it's washing my bank out.
Right.
Into the bayou. That's where most of my sediment's
Okay.
coming from. Now, at the end of it, my property line is coming from where it's outflowed from y'all, running off the street all these years. That's what's basically happened to him. And when they put in the sewer systems,
Yep.
they piled all that dirt on.
And it run down the
lot
hill.
next to him, and it ran right into the bayou.
Let's schedule a time. I'll have the clerk call you guys so we can all get together and talk about it because I need to have the attorney there and probably get this person from the FDEP to come down so we can all hear what they got to say.
Okay, well, she might make a call. I don't know if she'll come all the way from Pensacola, but we can see.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Gary Brannon, 1034 Brannon Place.
Yeah.
Speaking of the outfalls, and I've spoken with Tony on this and
Yeah.
looked at the aerials of the outfalls, and it's obvious when you look at the sky view of it, you can see the outfalls where the water has brought the sand and dirt right into the edge of where it dumped. And I believe I had spoken with you about it also, and Tony, about the water that's coming from 98 that runs through my land and comes out into the bayou right there. And if you look at the picture of it, it's an outfall, but you don't see anything. In other words, he said, well, it's not obvious. We don't see sand sitting right here at the end. And I got to thinking about this and engineering it in my brain, and it's because the outfall coming from 98 has such a large volume of water. Their outfalls is coming and it's just dumping out like right there. It's not pushing it further into the bay. It's just loading them up in these areas. And the reason you can't see it from the pictures from the sky, you can't see it is because the volume is pushing it so fast that it isn't just dropping right there.
It doesn't leave an imprint.
It doesn't leave an imprint because it's pushing it and it's filling the whole bayou up, even
Okay.
as far as their properties. When it comes in, I got videos of it, and when it comes in roaring, that whole bayou is just chocolate brown.
It is. I've seen it.
I've got videos, bunches of them, different rain. So as far as this one not being an outfall, it's because they can't see it where it just dumped right there.
Right.
Because the volume of mud has covered my whole bayou up also. And like them, I can't get my boat off the lift unless it's high tide.
Brenda Hendricks, I think, was mayor the last time we dredged. Do you remember that?
I remember the discussion of the dredge. And
It
I
was
remember-
massive. I mean, they had a ship that was 100 feet long or bigger out there.
I've been here 20 years and it was before my
Do you remember,
time.
Miss-
then.
Go up there. They
No.
wouldn't go up where he was. It was in front of my house and around.
Yeah, because my understanding was,
Was it 2004? Here it is. right?
was it 2004?
They came in the bayou I live in years ago. I think it was when Brenda and they stuck survey sticks.
Yeah, because they could only
and,
go.
and they looked at it and the depth
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
impact.
yeah.
And by the time they spent all the money on the impact and the surveys, they didn't have no money left to come dredge it.
But
The
Joe
money
has
was
told
gone.
you they're going to pay for
It's
it,
called red tape.
so we'll be
So
good
they
to
spent
go.
all the money, but that's why the outfall on behind my property and Joanne's and Bill's, I've got videos of them and I've got pictures. You can see it doesn't just go like that. It's spreading, and my whole bayou's just covered in mud. There's no fish in there anymore but catfish. I used to catch trout and redfish.
You can keep a catfish too.
One other thing,
Okay.
y'all being unopposed for this election, I'm real proud of y'all. It says a lot. It says that our city thinks y'all are going in the right direction for no one to run against y'all. And I want to say kudos. And
Thank you, sir.
And I also want to say the people in this city that come in and oppose everything y'all do is a minority. It's not a majority. And they have their constitutional rights to come in and say what they have to say, but they're mostly the minority in this city. And they want to complain about y'all don't dot all the I's and cross all the T's. So I'm going to bring y'all a box of I's and T's.
Thank you,
So
sir.
if y'all need any, you just pull one out.
I appreciate you. Jesus. Yes, sir.
Gregory Parker, 16 Wood Avenue. On February 18th, 2025, we received a memorandum from Miss Ingrid Bundy in regards to the code compliance of 6232 East Highway 98. It's all wrong. It states that y'all are supposed to do a 24-hour 8-way sound test. Y'all didn't do that. Y'all did 12 readings over 3 days, which doesn't really do anything. As far as Mr. Mann with his dot your I's and dot your T's, these are laws, these are regulations that the city created. And if you're not going to uphold them, if you're not going to actually do what you write down, then what is the point in being a city?
Is this a statement or are you asking me a question? I don't know how to answer you.
I would like to know why it is that my family continues to be shook and your city continues to give me garbage like this memorandum here.
It's my understanding that numerous people, our old police chief, new police chief, our city clerk, the old city clerk, myself, the code officers, have taken the device that we own that measures sound,
Does it do a 24-hour A-weighted sound test?
and they have been out there
I asked the
and
question.
measured it.
I asked a question. Does it do a 24-hour A-weighted sound test?
I don't know the answer to that. I know that they went out there over a period of time and did it. They didn't stand there for 24 hours, obviously, and see. Because in the middle of the night, obviously, it's dark. There's nobody out there.
Correct, and there's verbiage in the code and the LDR to state what you're supposed to do in those times.
That it says what?
It says in the code and the LDR that in the time of 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., if any noise is going on, increase the decibels 10 because it is nighttime. So
Okay, so what you're asking is
Overall-
you're asking to have a survey or a test conducted for the whole 24 hours. So I'm clear in my mind.
I am wanting the things done that are listed in this memorandum to have been done, which are not. When you have a home shaking due to industrial dryers and you use a Richter scale to formulate your hypothesis, and Richter scales are for earthquakes, we're not in grade school. We understand that Richter scales are for earthquakes, and we understand that there's other instrumentation for other vibrational.
Now, about 2 or 3
occurrences.
years ago, when I talked to you about this the last time, we didn't have anybody locally that had the device that could test to the degree you wanted to, right?
To my knowledge, Bay County has the technology, and every time that Bay County Sheriff comes out to do the test or do any type of test, they tell me that their machinery is inoperable.
Okay.
I
And
would
the
like-
sheriff does that, does it?
I-
I don't know.
Sheriff Bronson was the one I spoke to. All I know is that there are laws being broken daily that should not be. There's a memorandum sitting in my hand, and the attorney has it in his hand, that is completely bogus. I mean,
Okay.
there's
Tell me what
no-
it is you want me to try to do for you.
I would like the tests that are supposed to be done by the code of the city that wrote it done, and the business that is doing damage to my property and my family held accountable for such.
Okay.
Mayor, this is the first time seeing it.
Okay. First time Mr. Sloan has seen, he's going to have a chance to absorb it.
Yeah, I mean, all I can tell you is that there appears to be testing being done and results being recorded.
But that's not, you have an order of operations of doing things, and the order of operations for any type of sound issue in the city of Parker is to do a 24-hour A-weighted sound test in the area of which the complaint is coming from for you to have a conclusive evidence for the claim.
Okay.
I didn't make those rules.
Okay.
The city of Parker did.
The attorney says he's going to look at it, and once he's looked at it, we'll get back with you. I ask you a question. If they are compliant, and it's just that and everything is fine, what do you want me to do next?
Fix the vibrations from.
No, but I
the
mean,
34
if it's found through scientific
Sound.
investigation that it's not a problem,
through sound, right?
I don't know. I mean, if there's an
Sound
earthquake,
and
do I
vibration
know?
are two different things, and we have been going over this issue for.
So now it's not sound; it's vibration.
Oh, again, we have gone over this many a times. There's flooding going on. There's vibration going on. There's sound coming into my home. There's email. You have emails in your inbox waiting on you to see.
Okay. Yeah, by all means.
My name is Brandy Parker. I also
Come to the podium, ma'am.
I can't come up to the podium, but I will say this, Mr. Kelly.
Why can't you come to the podium?
Because I cannot. I need to sit here with my father.
Okay.
And I shouldn't have to explain that to you like everything else. This is a free country. Sir, you have been given every bit of information that young man is handing you right now. So is everybody sitting around this table. If none of you have taken the time to read that email, sir, that
Ma'am.
is on you.
Ma'am.
That is on you and the city
Ma'am.
of Parker and all
Ma'am.
of you that should do your homework.
Ma'am,
Don't shush me.
Calm it down.
You can ask me to calm it
Calm
down.
it down,
Don't
you
shush
can
me.
leave, it's up to you.
bottom line.
I,
Calm it down.
I'm gonna say again, don't shush me. I'm not a dog.
Calm it down, you can leave, it's up to
I'm
you.
gonna say again, you were all sent the email,
Ev-
including you,
ev-
Mr. Sloan.
Everybody's read those emails.
I ain't,
I ain't seen an email.
What, do you
I've
have your
sent
emails
you.
with the
I've
city
sent Miss
contacts?
Barrow emails. I've sent Mr. Haney emails. I've sent Miss Bundy emails. Sorry.
Got an email.
So
You haven't
just hear
seen
me
the
out.
email, whether
The
you
ones
know
that
it
I
or not, you
received
have
from
one.
you last year and the year before and the year before, I gave those to the law enforcement folks to measure the sound, and we responded to you and told you that they were compliant.
But they're not, because you're not doing the correct sound. So you can say they're in compliance all day long, but if you're not doing the correct test,
I don't. Okay,
are you
but
going to give someone a marijuana test for an alcoholic breathalyzer? No. You're going to give them a breathalyzer if they're driving over the limits for alcohol. You're not going to do a marijuana test. You're not going to do any other test. You're going to use a blood alcohol test.
okay.
That's what the question is. You have code in the city of Parker that states a 24-hour A-weighted sound test has to be conducted. You say that.
Sir, I stood in your back front yard, side yard, right behind there. The chief and I stood behind the laundromat. He put the machine over the fence. He put the machine by the...
Irrelevant.
Huh?
Irrelevant. Were you there for 24 hours?
No.
Okay, then it's irrelevant.
And that's not going to happen. So just
Okay,
be clear in
so
your
you're not
mind.
gonna follow your
No,
code.
but nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to put an employee out there for 24 hours to measure the sound behind your house. I'm not.
No one needs an
We went out
employee
there
for
randomly and did it. The police chief and I went out there dozens of times and stood in your backyard and your front yard.
But you're not following code.
Okay.
You have code written, so does that mean that if I break code, it's okay for me to break code too?
If his time's up, he needs.
Yeah, your time's up, sir. Mr. Sloan will get up with you. Or I'll call him when he tells me what to do. Okay.
What time does that laundromat close?
9? 10? But see, the last time it happened, we were criticized because they said that people were working in there after the time that the laundromat closed. Dennis and I stood out back for hours, measuring tractor trailers, people folding clothes. I did not feel any vibration of the earth. Nothing. All we had was the sound of the drying. And it was within the parameters of the machine that we have. We even went as far as he went and bought new batteries and attached the receipt from the batteries to the report that he wrote, because it's been documented. We have everything in this folder right here documenting what he's complaining about, stating that the city is compliant. And I can't make it different than what it is. I can't make this man close his laundromat if the document says he's compliant.
It's not compliant if you're not doing the code that says you need to be compliant.
Okay.
I'll take a look.
All right,
at
Mr.
that.
Sloan's going to take care of it. There's nothing I can do to help you. Okay, moving right along to the next item. Is there anybody else that would like to come to the podium? Okay. Next item is the approval of the city council minutes. You should have them as the first item in your package.
I make a motion that we approve them as presented.
Second.
We have a first and a second, Madam Clerk.
Absolutely. Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Ms. Boswell? Mr. Chappell?
Yes.
Mr. Haney? And Mayor Kelly.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Last week in conversation, received a call from the code enforcement magistrate, and this doesn't happen very often, but in this particular case, it has occurred. He recommended that we find a person to be the backup magistrate, because if a code occurred that was on his property or attached to his property, it would be better if a different person heard the case, because he didn't want to have it look that was something suspicious going on. He said that he recommended a person that has a good working knowledge of the codes for the city of Parker. And I would like to recommend Mark Rega, the chair of the code of the planning council, because he's the one that wrote the document that we work off of. And what I'm asking you is to appoint Mr. Rega as the second magistrate to cover and back up the current magistrate in the event he can't hear it because it impacts him.
I can't think of a man more qualified.
Thank you, sir.
Well, don't we need to ask him if he wants to do it?
No, because we shouldn't say a word, because if he says no, then what we're going to do?
He's gotta do it.
And I need to verify there's not a off the toilet problem.
Okay. Well, Mr. Sloan has decided he wants to make
I
sure.
didn't decide it.
You said it.
Okay.
I'm just
He
saying.
wants. I don't think there is, but we're more than welcome to look if it's for free, and.
Nothing in life is free.
Oh, you're telling me. But I would like to see Reagan be my backup magistrate, and I feel like we should do it unless there's some kind of conflict but we need to put it to bed and get it done, because this issue that he wants resolved, that we want resolved, has already been coded, and it's going to happen in the next 10 days. And could be less than that now. So I agree with you, Mr. Haney. So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a motion?
Yes, sir.
I
What-
second.
Wait,
It's assuming it doesn't violate the dual office holding.
assuming it doesn't operate, yeah.
Well, if it does, we just get a different city attorney, right?
We
try-
could do that, and that would be a
I only
lot.
hold one office.
So, Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Absolutely. Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Ms. Boderford? Yes. Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes, absolutely. Is Rager in the room? Oh, I see you hiding back behind the microphone. It's conducive upon my attorney's reading of the law for the state of Florida, and I think it'll be fine. I don't think it'll be a problem. As long as it's for free. You know me, man. Okay, we have the municipal election agreement. Mr. Sloan, did you
Yes,
want to
sir.
read that?
We received a draft of that agreement. I made a couple of tweaks to it. As you know, there's a new supervisor of elections, and so they were hoping to get every city to sign on to a new elections agreement. I don't think that it's doing a whole lot of changing. It's just the signature line is the new supervisor of elections.
So we have to vote on that, council. We
Just
need
a
a,
motion to
I'll
authorize
make
you
a
to sign.
motion to,
we have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Ms. Barrow?
yes.
Ms. Boderford? Yes. Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney? And Mayor Kelly?
Yes, thank you very much. Item 4 is mine. You remember, you may or you may not remember, during the last federal administration, we received some ARPA funding, which most of it has been allocated for future projects in public works. However, currently there is $424,657.09 in the account. And Mr. Sommerlin has told me for now over a year now that we are in desperate need of a new backhoe. Yeah, backhoe. We have 2 that are over 20 years old, and they break more often than they're worth repairing. And he would like to sell those, but we would like to replace that backhoe, council, with $150,000 from the ARPA funding. That would it would still leave us $275,000, I think is what the number was, remaining on the account. So what I'm asking for is to allow me to spend $150,000 of the ARPA funds that we receive from the federal government for COVID, believe it or not, to generate the economy. Let me spend that money in public works to buy a new excavator. Backhoe, I get it wrong all the time. A backhoe to dig dirt with.
I make a motion to approve it.
How many shovels can you buy with that kind of money?
Well, it depends. It's not the shovels, it's the operators. And I haven't, Mr. Sloan, do we need to check any law on this? If we get shovels, not an excavator?
Tony seems like a good
You're gonna buy
Backhoe.
multiple shovels for
Backhoe, not
You'd
$150,000.
get multiple, wouldn't you? So, yeah. I mean, so we have a motion,
Second.
and we have a second. Thank you, council. Would you please call the roll?
Yes. Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Ms. Boderford? Yes. Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Absolutely. Thank you, council. That's really important to. No, that's it. No.
Can you make a motion to, or can I ask you all to make a motion to go ahead and declare the 2 backhoes surplus? So that way, as soon as this comes in.
Okay, so what he's saying is, can he declare them excess, right? Surplus, and sell those off.
I
Would
make
that
a
be
motion,
wise until we get the new equipment in?
make a motion
I wanna do it until we get it in, but I don't want it to come back after it gets here.
Well, it may be
Second.
3 or 4 months before you get a machine.
It will be 3 or 4 months.
Correct, and I won't sell them for 3 or 4 months, but we've already made this motion that they're declared surplus, so I can go ahead and sell them as soon as the machine gets here.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
We do.
Call the roll, please.
Ms. Barrow?
yes.
Ms. Boderford? Yes. Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
And Mayor Kelly?
Yes. Thank you, council. What else we got here? The consideration for the planning board, it was for the application for shoreline construction. Are they here tonight?
That's me.
Is that you? We got two of them on here. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
I like your map a lot. I was at rodeos last week, and there's so many people talking about this, how nice it's going to be. And
Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah.
We just need you guys' approval.
okay, have you guys had a chance to look at Mr. Buchholz's?
Very briefly, and I'd like a little more time to review this, I mean, as far as EPA, because you don't have any dump outs or sewage or anything like that on these boat
No.
slips, do you? No, I don't know. Do you have running water running to all of them?
We'll have water on the dock, yeah.
Water on the dock, yeah. What length of boats are you gonna have on these slips?
Well, the majority of them are probably, most of them are gonna be smaller boats. There'll probably be a capacity for,
26 and above, any?
well, actually, pontoon boats are 18 feet, a lot of 21. They're mostly small, but there's probably gonna be a half a dozen that are 35 to 50.
So it's more than just transient boats coming in and out. You're gonna have
Yeah.
some long-term stays.
Well, yeah, like we have now. So.
I'm against this till I can read further into what the EPA requires for dump out stations and so on.
Well,
and so
I don't know what you mean by dump outs, but, we have no liveaboards and we have no, and we have,
You don't know
that
what a
kind of
dump out
stuff.
station is?
I'm sorry?
You don't know what a dump out station is?
No, we don't allow it.
You don't allow a dump out?
And we don't have it, no.
You don't have a sewage dump out?
No,
or
'cause we don't have anybody, we don't allow, we have no liveaboards.
Yet.
Ever. It's not allowed in the city of Parker.
Well, I mean, if you know the city of Parker, you're gonna have some people living on them boats before you know it.
Not at my place.
We'll see. I'm a no, whatever you
Okay.
decide.
All right.
Okay. Well, council, we need to make a decision if we're gonna.
Is that part of the permit, Mr. Buchholz, that you have no liverboard? Is
We
that-
didn't know, but I don't see the point because, number one, we don't want them. Number two, Parker says they're not allowed, so I don't see the point in it. But I mean,
I just didn't know if the state included that in their permit.
If there's water going out on boats, you know they're gonna be generating sewage.
No, the water is for the purpose of cleaning the boats, because every time if somebody goes out, they wash the boat down from the salt water on the boats and stuff. And we've been there for 3 years, and there's never been one issue that I'm aware of that ever happening, and there's never been a complaint about our marina, about anything like that. And we run a pretty tight ship there, because we.
You don't pump out any boats, do you?
No,
Not even these new ones,
No.
or even anybody's for that matter.
Nope.
There must be a place in Bay County where you can go to pump out your boat. I'm not sure where that's at.
Yeah,
But someone must do it.
A lot of the docks have pump outs, but they have a need for them because they have people that
live on their
'em,
vessels.
And we don't
I
have a
understand.
need for them because we have no liveaboards.
I understand.
So, and we have outside facilities for anybody that parks
Use
a
just
boat
the
in our
bathroom.
place. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And let me, well, we went through that with the planning board and, got unanimous approval from the planning board for that. And, so at any rate.
Okay. So, council, is there any more comments? Does anybody else have anything they'd like to talk about? Well, then
I don't know
we,
what the rest of the council feels about it.
we don't allow anybody to pump out their boats in Parker. I mean,
Well, they said they're gonna go to a pump out station, it's gonna go on the bike.
yeah, if they don't have a pump out station, then yeah. Well, we have a problem with that right now, but that's, to be fair, John, I've never known them to have a pump out station anywhere down there. I don't know what they do. They have a bathroom, and people walk up on the shore and use the bathroom. That's what I assumed you would
Well,
do.
if you're living on a vessel, you're gonna be using the restroom.
Right.
It's gonna be needed
But
pump
no
out.
one can live on them, can
There's
they?
other places for them to go, not here, but.
Yeah, the
where they
docks
go
that
and
have
they
that, and
get
again,
gas
I mean,
and they
that-
pump out and all
Well,
that
like I
stuff.
said,
I mean, anybody can break the law whenever, we can't keep people from breaking the law, but
this
the
guy
law
placed-
states we're not allowed to have them.
This was placed in my hands at 2:00 this afternoon, and I have not had a chance to read all the EPA
Okay.
bylaws and what all else goes along with it, so as of now, I'm a hard no.
Okay, we got that.
Council, anything?
I mean, I'm not really sure how you're gonna enforce nobody living there, but
You have to, because we have an ordinance that you can't even park
Yeah.
them out in the water and live.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
like you said, there's gonna be people who break laws. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, the difference with us is the fact that we're there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and we know who comes and goes. We have cameras that watches the whole facility.
Okay.
And that's just, I mean, I don't know what more you could do. I mean,
But my opinion is, I like how this looks. I think it looks better than what it is now.
Mm.
Mind you, I live 2 or 3 properties down, so. Me personally, I make a motion to approve it.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, you call a roll?
Okay, Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Ms. Botiford?
Yes.
Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Nope.
And Mayor Kelly?
Yes. Thank you very much.
may I say one thing? 'Cause this
Sure.
is, and this is really evident of a need. For us to get to the point of getting here for this meeting, it cost us $25,000 in soil and water testing and all that kind of stuff. And so obviously this could be turned down. So I think we have the cart before the horse. So if people could approach you guys and reasons be pending these other approvals to do it, then somebody doesn't spend $25,000 to find out to get turned down.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
this is democracy.
No,
I completely
I'm just
I stand by
suggesting-
The city's
Mr.
already
Haney.
gave you a unicorn already with your bait station down there on Long Point.
Do what?
The city's already given you a unicorn up for your bait station down there at Long Point. Now you come asking for more and more and more. And when are you gonna stop?
When we stop improving the marina.
I understand.
I mean, there's nothing we've done that I feel is improving the marina, you know? I mean, we've improved the facility and not gonna stop doing that until somebody says we can't do it anymore. But
Thank you,
y'all.
thank you. The last thing is the East Bay Apartments. Are they there? Are they here tonight? So on the East Bay Apartments, I'm going to continue this for another meeting because Mr. Sloan wants to find out what it is that they're asking for. If you review this package, it doesn't give you much guidance. At least it doesn't give me much guidance on what it is that they're asking for. There was a piece of land down there that they wanted us to give them. I'm not giving away any land. And I think what they're asking for is to be able to build a restaurant on that end piece of property down there, which that would be really nice if they're compliant. Except, I don't know, Mr. Rager, have you got any clue what it is they're asking for?
We have not been given anything to planning on this particular project, so I'm sorry.
Oh, you haven't?
No, sir, we
Oh,
have not.
well,
It needs to go back through planning.
it's gonna have to come back to y'all before we're even gonna look at it.
Unless it's in the one that we're gonna be coming up next Tuesday, is that?
But this has been before us for a month now, 2 times.
Yeah, nothing has come
to-
before planning.
Okay.
Last time this came before planning was a few years ago.
Yeah.
When we were dealing with
There was a sign the last time that was cut out on the road, right?
yeah, but the issues back then had to do with, environmental, issues with
Right.
the building, when they were taking it down. That was 2 years ago.
I'm thinking because of this massive construction that's about to start there, we may ought to just slow down on any kind of movement of anything there until the federal government gets through putting those stanchions in for the new bridge.
When was that construction?
Okay, if you noticed, I don't know if you did or not, but in September, there was a ship down there. And that ship was taking surveys of the bottom of the ocean by putting a device down there. I don't know if it measured murmurs of the earth or the sound of the drill. I don't know what it did. But they were the people that were tasked with making sure that the soil, however far down it was, had to be a certain compaction, I want to use that word, so that they could pour the concrete down there to set the bridge on top. That was what they were doing then. And then the guy that came and talked to us said that it would be a little bit of a slow getting started because that was the technical part of it, and then it would be getting going. My understanding is that they're going to put it on the opposing side to the bridge that's there now first, and then get it over, and then they're going to contraflow the flow and take the old bridge down and put another new bridge up. So both bridges will go to Tyndall. But as yet, I've not seen a final plan. Have you, Mr. Summerlin?
My understanding is that we probably won't see any.
Nothing above the surface for a couple years.
The bridge builder bought the one lot, so once you see the offices come up over by CB Sales.
Right.
And then we're probably looking at next year before they start seeing materials later.
Right.
But they said the project's 8 to 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years what he told me. If you look at CB Sales, right beside it is that wooded area. they're literally going to put their offices right there. So, okay. Well, without them being here and without any conversation, I have nothing else. Council, do you have anything? Madam Clerk, no?
I do.
Okay,
I got
go ahead.
A couple questions about the gentleman that was here earlier about the laundromat.
Yes, ma'am.
How long has that laundromat been there? Do we know? How many
A long time.
2021 is when they went in, I believe.
2021?
I believe so.
But Miss Barrow, Dennis Hudson and I stood out there for hours.
I know, we've already gone through all this stuff. I'm just, how long has these people been living in that house?
2018.
Mayor, I did a little research just because I've heard that this may potentially come before us.
Yeah.
That particular dryer manufacturer, there are literally millions of them throughout the country.
Yeah.
And I did a quick search, not an in-depth search, but a quick search to determine if there were any other complaints about sound or noise or vibration. There was zero.
Well, for everybody, the last time I talked with him, we showed him our results. Dennis wrote this beautiful report, put the receipts on it, and he wouldn't accept that because he said we didn't measure the sound of the tires going over the Tyndall Bridge. And I don't know that I have the ability. I'm just the mayor. I don't have any way to measure seismic change, you know. I mean, and there was a company out of Atlanta who wanted like $600 an hour to come to Parker and measure. And I'm not spending the money. I won't do it. I got so many other things I could do with that money.
I'm about another mile in from the property you're talking about. And
Yeah.
today, the boys at Tyndall were out flying. Those jets are 100 times louder.
Thank God they're out there. I'm so proud that they're doing it.
There was a lot of activity going on today. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I mean, my house is poured cinder block, and when those jets come flying over, it vibrates in my house.
That's right. I'm glad they fly over my house. I want them to fly over my
But
house.
we can't use that as some, even tires on the bridge and all. I do not appreciate the way he talked to this council and you, Mayor, and the way he acted to the police, she acted to the police chief while she was in here. And I hope that the next time that they show up in here, that they are either put in their place or they're sent out the door.
Okay, then
Because
that's what it'll be.
I mean,
That was uncalled for.
they're not going to do nothing but rude to us. I don't know what we're supposed to do.
There's nothing more we can do, ma'am.
You know, there's nothing we can do. I mean, it's a laundromat, and if they close at 10 o'clock, that's the rules. To 10 o'clock,
So
close it down.
the last time we showed that it closed at 10 o'clock, and immediately they moved on to the Tapatia, the little red. There was a red RV beside there that made Mexican food in the daytime, right? And they have to have a generator. So when they went from the laundromat, they went to the guy's generator. You could barely hear it running. So the guy packed up his business and he's gone. And we can't run up every business because just one person doesn't like it.
Well, this guy seems to have a problem, but anyway, we'll wait and see what comes of that. But I have another thing. Gary Brannon has been discussing the last time when we were dealing with Ms. Rozo's house and the way it was what.
Talking about the triplex situation?
Yes.
Okay.
And the grandfathering of the.
Non-compliance
Yes.
is the legal name, it's grandfathered in.
We were going to look into.
Be addressed.
Yeah, to see what we could do about talking about it to change it.
Can I come up and speak on this issue?
Ms. Barrow, Kenny?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll let you. Go ahead.
Well, she has the floor. That's why I'm asking.
Gary Brandon, 1034 Brandon Place. When this happened about them changing the regulations about non-compliance is the legal name of grandfathered in, but we call it grandfathered in. It's just a slang word for something that was non-compliance. It's been there, it exists, and it can be there. Mr. Riga brought up that it came up many times at meetings, and that y'all brought it up, and I come to a lot of meetings, and then I was told that it was in the Bullet, that ran an article on it. And so I'd ask them, well, did y'all read the article I put in the Bullet? They said no. I said, well, I didn't read y'all's either. That's the joke. You get it? So anyway.
I don't, but go ahead.
I didn't get mine. I didn't get yours. If there were people that voted to make sure these grandfathered in non-compliances, if you sell your property, you can't sell it as a duplex anymore.
Okay.
That doesn't make sense because these properties, mine was built in the 50s. Now, my one question is, all these meetings that were brought up about this non-compliance and making sure if it got sold, they couldn't be duplexes, they weren't grandfathered in anymore. How many people that own these properties came to those meetings? Did you have one person come to say, I don't agree with this? And I think the answer is no, because nobody.
Well, they probably didn't know.
Yeah, didn't know.
No.
There's a fourplex.
Mr. Brandon, let me ask you a question before we waste any more of your time
Okay.
tonight. Can I ask that we throw this subject to the Planning Council?
Correct.
And let them debate this subject. And then they can come back with an answer for Ms. Barrow and for me too. Because we could say you just can't build any more of them.
Yeah, and that's the way it is anyway. You can't build anymore because they're zoned single-family residence. That's obvious. There can never be another one in a single-family residence. But if you got a multifamily in a single-family residence that's been there before the single-family homes were built, it's
Okay.
grandfathered in.
Okay.
Nobody's asking for any more. We're
No.
just asking for what's been there for the last 50 years. If I sell it, can it stay?
Okay.
I've got a duplex
Let me ask the Planning Council
to readdress.
to look it over, and we will find a solution.
Yeah, and that's
'cause
all I ask is
all you have to do is look into the rest of the nation to find out what the rest of the people in the United
but
States
they're
do, and you have an
grandfathered
answer.
in. They're grandfathered in.
Well, I don't know that because I haven't asked Mark Reagan. Well, Magistrate Reagan may have to rule on it, so I'm not really sure.
They were built in the 50s when there were no regulations. And
Yeah.
so they were just there.
We will find a happy medium for the
Here's
people
my
of Parker.
joke. My duplex, I sent both my tenants to the beach for the weekend.
Yeah.
And when they came back, I'd knocked the wall out in between them and told them they were roommates.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Barrow?
That's it for tonight.
Is that it for tonight? Thank God. Good night, everybody. Is this a meening for this right here? It's got nice cold water in it. And a candy stood beside it. That is poison. I didn't put it there. I didn't touch it. Now, how can you win with him? You can't win. I'm not going to have anybody stand out there for 20 hours. That's stupid. Yeah.